Okay, so get this. Donald Trump, right? The guy practically swimming in Russian money, apparently hates Russian food. How crazy is that?
Yeah, talk about an irony, right?
Totally. And we're going to deep dive into this today. We're looking at this wild conversation, and I mean wild, like between God, George Carlin, and Al Capone.
A fictional conversation.
Right, fictional, but still. So Carlin points out that Trump, despite all his Russian connections, never seems to eat their food, even something as simple as borscht.
Which is pretty strange when you think about it. I mean, wouldn't you at least try it, just for show, especially when you're so deeply involved with the people who love it?
Exactly, like, come on, at least a little caviar for the cameras,
All
right?
right. So Carlin brings up this point about Trump's aversion to Russian food, and I think it's a good jumping off point.
So is it a deliberate thing?
It makes you wonder, like, is he trying to distance himself, make a statement that he's not actually beholden to Russian culture?
A power move, maybe?
Yeah, could be. And then Capone chimes in with his perspective. He's all about pragmatism and power.
Right, the whole gangster thing.
Exactly. Like, in his world, deals were made over strong drinks and handshakes, not, fancy meals.
Makes sense, I guess.
So applying that to Trump, maybe rejecting Russian cuisine is his way of kind of asserting his independence. Like, I'm in control here. I don't need to play your games.
Interesting. So, like, Capone wouldn't share a plate of, what are those Russian dumplings called?
Pelmeni.
Pelmeni, yeah. Capone wouldn't share pelmeni to make a deal.
Exactly. It's all about establishing dominance.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. And where does God fit into all this?
Well, God reminds us that humans, even someone like Trump, are full of contradictions. We're complex, right? Our motivations aren't always clear, maybe even to ourselves.
Yeah, that whole layers of an onion thing.
Exactly. And it makes you think about, people in your own life. Have you ever known someone who projects one image, but their actions say something totally different?
All the time. I mean, think about politicians or celebrities or honestly, just about anyone. We all do it to some extent, right?
Absolutely. And that's what makes this whole thing with Trump and Russian food so fascinating, because is it a calculated move? Is it just a personal preference? Or is it, like God suggests, just part of being human, this bundle of contradictions?
So we're left with more questions than answers.
I think that's the point, right? Like, it's not about figuring out the truth about Trump, but more about understanding how complex human behavior can be.
And God leaves us with this toast to the ironies of life and the mystery of the human heart. Pretty poetic for the Almighty, huh?
Definitely. And it's a good reminder that even these figures who seem larger than life are operating within these systems of power and influence that we might never fully grasp. Like, they're always layers, right?
Always layers.
And this whole thing, this deep dive, is about peeling back those layers, even just a little bit, seeing what we can learn about Trump, about ourselves, about how power works in the world.
It's food for thought, that's for sure.
Literally.
All right, folks, that's our deep dive for today. Keep those brains churning, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.